I'm going to be honest with you for the next few minutes in a way that most people over 60 never get to hear in a rushed appointment. If you take a statin, or you've been told you probably should, there is a real benefit and there is a hidden cost that almost nobody explains clearly. And the single most important thing I'm going to tell you isn't whether statins are good or bad. It's a question you can ask at your next visit that could change everything about how you feel on this medication. So stay with me because the part most seniors get wrong comes later. Let me say right at the top who I am and who I'm not. I'm not a doctor. I don't diagnose anyone, and I'd never tell you to start or stop a single pill. What I do is read the research carefully and explain it in plain English, the way I'd explain it to my own father at the kitchen table. So everything today is general education, not a prescription. The decisions stay between you and your doctor and your pharmacist. Good? Good. Now, statins. We're talking about the common ones: atorvastatin, rosuvastatin, simvastatin, pravastatin, and a few others. Tens of millions of older adults take them. And here's the thing I want to be fair about, because there's a lot of fear and a lot of nonsense online. For the right person, statins are one of the most studied, most genuinely helpful medications we have. Let me give them their due before we talk about the cost. What statins actually do is lower LDL cholesterol, the kind that builds up in your arteries, by slowing how much your liver makes. And large studies have found that in people who already have heart disease, who've had a heart attack or a stroke, or who have blockages, statins meaningfully lower the chance of having another one. That's called secondary prevention, and the research there is strong and consistent. If you've had a cardiac event, the evidence that a statin helps you is about as solid as it gets in medicine. I want to be honest about that because some videos make statins sound like poison, and that's not fair to the people they genuinely protect. But here's where it gets more interesting and where the title of this video comes in. There's a difference between using a statin to protect someone who's already had a heart problem and using it in someone who's healthy and just has a number on a lab report that's a little high. That second group is called primary prevention, and the benefit there is real but smaller. And it's where the conversation gets a lot more personal once you're over 60. We'll come back to that because that's the part most people never get a straight answer on. So let's talk about the hidden cost. Not scary, just under-discussed. 3 things the research keeps pointing to that you deserve to know about. The first one is muscle aches. This is the big one, the one I hear about most from folks over 60. Many people on statins report muscle aches, soreness, heaviness in the legs, weakness. That feeling like you did yard work yesterday when you didn't do a thing. Now in the strict clinical trials, true muscle problems show up in only a small percentage of people, and serious muscle damage is genuinely rare. But out here in the real world, a lot of seniors describe aches they're convinced are tied to the pill. The research on this is honestly a little messy. Some studies suggest a lot of it may be coincidence or expectation, because muscles ache more as we age anyway. But here's what matters for you. If you started a statin and a few weeks later your legs felt like lead, that is worth a real conversation. Because here's the part most seniors get wrong, and I promised you this earlier. They quietly stop taking the pill on their own and don't tell anybody. Please don't do that. Never stop a medication on your own, because there's often a simple fix: a different statin, a lower dose, a different schedule. Some people do beautifully on one statin after being miserable on another, but your doctor can only help you if they know. The second under-discussed effect is blood sugar. Studies have found that statins are linked to a small increase in the risk of developing type 2 diabetes, or of nudging blood sugar up in people who were already heading that direction. Now I want to be careful and fair here, because this gets exaggerated. The increase is modest, and for most people with real heart risk, the heart protection still outweighs it. The experts who study this generally agree the benefit usually wins, but if you're 65, your blood sugar's already borderline, your family's full of diabetes, and you're on a statin mostly as a precaution, that's not a footnote anymore. That's a real factor that belongs in your decision. And again, the answer isn't to stop. The answer is to know, so you and your doctor can watch your A1C and weigh it honestly. The third one you've maybe heard whispered about, CoQ10, coenzyme Q10. It's a natural substance your body makes that helps your cells produce energy, and it happens to travel down the same chemical pathway that statins block. So statins can lower the CoQ10 levels in your blood. That part's not really debated. What is debated, and I want to be straight with you, is whether taking a CoQ10 supplement actually fixes statin muscle aches. The research is genuinely mixed. Some studies suggest a little benefit, others show none at all. So I'm not here to sell you a supplement, and I'd be lying if I told you it's a guaranteed fix. But it's a reasonable thing to ask your doctor or pharmacist about, especially if muscle aches are your main complaint. Just don't add anything, even something natural, without running it by them first, because supplements interact with medications more than people think. Let me pause right here, because if this is helping you think more clearly, the fuller breakdown, including a simple checklist of questions to bring to your appointment, is linked down in the description. No charge, no catch, just something I put together for folks like you. Take a look when the video's done. All right, now to the heart of it, who benefits most? Because this is where being over 60 actually changes the math, and where you can stop feeling like a passenger and start being part of the decision. If you've already had a heart attack, a stroke, a stent, bypass surgery, or you have known blockages, the research strongly supports statins for you, and age doesn't erase that benefit. If anything, higher risk people often have the most to gain. That's the clearest case. If you have diabetes, the picture also generally leans toward benefit, because diabetes is hard on your arteries over time. But if you're someone who's basically healthy, no heart disease, no diabetes, and you're being offered a statin purely because your cholesterol number is up, that's where it becomes a genuine conversation rather than an automatic yes. Research in adults over 75 who've never had heart disease is actually thinner than you'd expect. We have less rock-solid evidence in that exact group, and good doctors will tell you that honestly. It doesn't mean the answer is no. It means the answer is it depends on your other risks, your life expectancy, what you value, and how you personally weigh a small chance of preventing a heart attack against the chance of muscle aches or a nudge in blood sugar. That's not a number on a chart deciding for you. That's you and your doctor deciding together. So here are the questions I'd want you walking in with. Write these down if you can. Number 1. Am I taking this to prevent a second heart problem or a first one? Because that one answer reshapes everything. Number 2. Given my age and my overall health, how much does this statin actually lower my risk, in real numbers? Make them put a number on it. It's good for your cholesterol is not an answer. Ask how many people like you would need to take it for one heart attack to be prevented. A good doctor won't mind the question. Number 3. If I'm getting muscle aches, what are my options? A different statin, a lower dose, a different schedule. There are almost always options. Number 4. Should we be keeping an eye on my blood sugar while I'm on this? And number 5, is there anything in my current medication list that interacts with this statin? That one matters more than people realize, because some statins clash with certain blood pressure pills, certain antibiotics, even grapefruit, in ways that can raise the odds of side effects. And notice what's not on that list. Nowhere did I say, decide whether to quit, because that's never your move to make alone. The whole point of these questions is to have a richer conversation, not to fire your doctor and self-prescribe from the internet, including from me. Let me tie this together, because I don't want you to walk away with the wrong lesson. The wrong lesson is, statins are dangerous. Throw them out. That's not what the research says, and that's not what I'm saying. Statins help a lot of people, and for some of you, they may be genuinely protecting your life right now. The right lesson is gentler and more useful. Statins are not one size fits all. The benefit depends a great deal on your personal situation, and the side effects that get brushed off in a 7-minute appointment, the muscle aches, the blood sugar, the CoQ10 question, are real enough to deserve a real conversation. You are allowed to ask questions. You're allowed to say, I've been having aches, let's talk about it. That's not being a difficult patient, that's being an informed one. And informed patients tend to get better care, because they bring things into the light instead of quietly suffering or quietly quitting. One more time, because I mean it. If you're having side effects, the move is never to stop on your own and hope for the best. The move is to call your doctor or your pharmacist and say, "Here's what I'm noticing. What are my options?" Stopping suddenly, especially after a heart event, can carry its own risks. Talk first. Always talk first. If today gave you a clearer way to think about all this, do me a small favor and check that link in the description. It's got the appointment checklist and a plain language summary of everything we covered, so you can walk in prepared instead of overwhelmed. That's the only thing I'll ask of you. I want to leave you with this. Getting older doesn't mean handing your health over to any one doctor or stranger on the internet. It means staying curious, asking good questions, and being a real partner in your own care. The folks I see aging well aren't the ones who follow every rule blindly or reject every pill out of fear. They're the ones who stay engaged, who ask why, who treat their doctor as a teammate. You can be that person at 60, at 70, at 85. It's never too late to get curious about your own health. Now please remember, everything I shared today is general information to help you ask better questions. It is not medical advice, it's not a diagnosis, and it is absolutely not a reason to change anything you're taking. Your doctor and your pharmacist know you. I don't. So bring them your questions. Take good care of yourself, be gentle with yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.